Have you ever noticed how some people seem to effortlessly become the person they aspire to be, while others remain stuck dreaming about transformation that never comes? Have you wondered why positive thinking and goal-setting work miraculously for some people but leave others feeling more frustrated than before? What if I told you that there's a single shift in how you show up in the world that can bridge the gap between who you are and who you're meant to become? Joseph Campbell, the master decoder of human transformation and the hero's journey, discovered something profound about the nature of personal evolution. Through his analysis of thousands of myths, legends, and real-life transformations, Campbell found that there's a specific moment in every hero's journey when everything changes. It's not when they decide to change, not when they make plans to change, but when they begin acting as if the transformation has already occurred. We live in a culture obsessed with becoming. We're constantly focused on who we want to be someday, what we want to achieve eventually, how we want to feel in the future. We treat our desired identity like a distant destination we'll reach after we've done enough work, learned enough lessons, or accumulated enough evidence that we deserve to be that person. But Campbell discovered something revolutionary. The person you want to become isn't a future possibility waiting for you to earn it. It's a present reality waiting for you to embody it. The transformation you're seeking doesn't happen through becoming. It happens through being. You don't gradually evolve into your authentic self. You choose to start being your authentic self right now. Most people have this process completely backward. They think they need to feel different before they can act different, need to change internally before they can change externally, need to become the person before they can behave like the person. But Campbell's research revealed that transformation works in the opposite direction. You become the person by acting like the person. You develop the feelings by engaging in the behaviors. You create the internal reality by living the external expression. If you're recognizing yourself in this description I just made, know that you're definitely not alone in this. Actually, if this video is making sense to you so far, hit the like button to help me bring this reflection to more people who really need to hear this message. And subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this that goes to the root of problems and really makes you think differently about life. Now tell me in the comments, what's one way you could start acting today as if you're already the person you want to become? I read all the comments, and this helps me understand better how to create content that really impacts your lives. Campbell understood that identity isn't fixed. It's not something you're born with that remains static throughout your life. Identity is actually a creative act, a conscious choice, a moment-by-moment decision about how you're going to show up in the world. And the most powerful way to create a new identity is to start living from it immediately, even before you feel ready, even before it feels natural, even before you have evidence that you're capable of sustaining it. This principle is what Campbell called embodied transformation. Instead of thinking your way into a new way of being, you act your way into a new way of thinking. Instead of waiting to feel confident before taking confident actions, you take confident actions until confidence becomes your natural state. Instead of trying to become someone who deserves love, success, or happiness, you start acting like someone who already knows they're worthy of all good things. The first way that acting as if transforms your life is through what Campbell discovered was the principle of identity magnetism. When you consistently act like the person you want to become, you begin to attract the opportunities, relationships, and circumstances that are aligned with that identity. The universe responds to who you're being in this moment, not who you plan to become in the future. Think about it this way. If you want to become a successful entrepreneur, but you continue acting like someone who's afraid of risk, who doubts their ideas, who waits for permission to start, the universe will keep sending you experiences that match that fearful, doubtful, permission-seeking energy. But if you start acting like a successful entrepreneur right now, making bold decisions, trusting your instincts, taking ownership of your vision, the universe begins responding to that entrepreneurial energy immediately. Campbell found that identity magnetism works because the universe is always matching your internal state with external circumstances. When you embody a new identity through your actions, even before you feel it internally, you signal to the cosmic intelligence that you're ready for experiences that match that identity. This isn't about fake it till you make it or pretending to be something you're not. It's about recognizing that the person you want to become already exists within you as potential, and acting as if that potential is already your reality calls it forth into manifestation. People who understand this principle stop waiting for external validation before claiming their desired identity. They don't wait for someone to hire them as a leader before they start leading. They don't wait for recognition as an artist before they start creating art. They don't wait to feel worthy before they start acting worthy. Instead, they understand that external recognition follows internal embodiment, that the world treats you the way you treat yourself, that opportunities appear for people who act like they're ready for opportunities. When you start being the person you want to become, the world starts treating you like that person. The second way acting as if creates transformation is through what Campbell called the activation of dormant capabilities. Most people dramatically underestimate their current capacity because they're operating from old stories about their limitations, past evidence of their inadequacies, or fears about their ability to sustain change. But Campbell discovered that we all have far more capability available to us in this moment than we're currently accessing. The person you want to become isn't someone you need to develop. It's someone you need to uncover. The qualities you admire in others aren't foreign to your nature. They're aspects of your authentic self that have been suppressed by conditioning, fear, or simply lack of practice. When you start acting as if you already possess the qualities you desire, you begin accessing capabilities that were always there but dormant. It's like discovering that you've been driving a Ferrari in first gear your entire life. The power was always available, you just weren't using it. Campbell found that this activation happens because acting as if creates what he called demand on your system. When you behave like someone who's confident, your nervous system has to generate the neurochemistry of confidence. When you act like someone who's creative, your brain has to activate the neural pathways associated with creativity. When you move like someone who's powerful, your body has to embody the posture and energy of power. This isn't positive thinking or visualization. This is embodied practice that literally rewires your neurology, restructures your biochemistry, and reprograms your subconscious mind through direct experience rather than mental effort. People who master this principle often surprise themselves with capabilities they didn't know they had. They discover that they're more articulate than they thought when they start speaking like someone who's articulate. They find they're more creative than they believed when they start acting like someone who's creative. They realize they're more charismatic than they imagined when they start behaving like someone who's charismatic. The third way acting as if transforms your life is by dissolving what Campbell called the imposter syndrome barrier. Most people sabotage their own transformation because they feel like they're being fake, inauthentic, or deceptive when they act like someone they don't yet feel they are. They think they need to earn the right to embody their desired qualities before they can express them. But Campbell understood that this thinking is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of how identity works. Your authentic self isn't who you've been, it's who you're capable of becoming. Your true nature isn't limited to your past expressions. It includes all your unrealized potential. When you act as if you're already the person you want to become, you're not being fake. You're being courageously authentic to your highest potential. You're choosing to express the truth of who you are at the deepest level, rather than remaining trapped in the habits of who you've been. Campbell found that imposter syndrome dissolves when people realize that everyone is always acting as if, to some degree. The confident person wasn't born confident. They learned to act confident until it became natural. The successful person wasn't born successful. They learned to act successful until success became their norm. The happy person wasn't born happy. They learned to act happy until happiness became their default state. What we call natural personality traits are actually learned behaviors that have been practiced so long they feel automatic. When you understand this, you realize that choosing to act like the person you want to become is just accelerating a process that's already naturally occurring. People who overcome imposter syndrome through acting as if develop what Campbell called authentic confidence. They stop waiting for permission to be themselves and start giving themselves permission to express their full potential. They stop apologizing for their ambitions and start owning their vision. They stop playing small to make others comfortable and start showing up fully to serve their highest purpose. The fourth way acting as if creates transformation is through what Campbell discovered was the compound effect of identity consistency. Every time you act in alignment with your desired identity, you're casting a vote for that version of yourself. Every time you act in contradiction to your desired identity, you're casting a vote against it. Campbell found that transformation happens through the accumulation of these identity votes. Most people underestimate the power of single actions and therefore don't take them seriously. They think one choice doesn't matter, one decision won't make a difference, one moment of embodying their desired identity is insignificant. But Campbell understood that every moment of acting, as if is building what he called evidence files in your subconscious mind. Each time you act like the person you want to become, you're adding proof to your internal database that you are, indeed, that person. Over time, these evidence files become so substantial that your subconscious mind has no choice but to accept the new identity as true. This is why consistency is more important than intensity when it comes to identity transformation. Acting like your desired self for 5 minutes every day is more powerful than acting like your desired self for 5 hours once a month. The daily practice builds neural pathways, creates habits, and establishes new default patterns of behavior. Campbell found that people who commit to consistent identity practice often experience what he called the breakthrough moment, a point where the new identity stops feeling like an act and starts feeling like their natural state. This isn't because they've finally become that person. It's because they've practiced being that person so consistently that their nervous system, their subconscious mind, and their energy field have all aligned with the new identity. The fifth way, acting as if transforms your life, is by activating what Campbell called the observer effect of consciousness. When you consciously choose to act like the person you want to become, you become intensely aware of the gap between your current habitual behaviors and your desired behaviors. This awareness is incredibly powerful because it gives you conscious choice in moments where you used to operate on autopilot. Instead of automatically reacting from old patterns, you create space to respond from your desired identity. Instead of unconsciously reinforcing limiting behaviors, you consciously practice empowering behaviors. Campbell discovered that this heightened awareness accelerates transformation because it turns every interaction, every decision, every moment into an opportunity for growth. You start asking yourself questions like, how would the person I want to become handle this situation? What would someone who embodies my desired qualities do right now? How can I respond from my highest self rather than my habitual self? This conscious practice develops what Campbell called the transformer's muscle, the ability to choose your response rather than being controlled by your conditioning. The more you practice acting as if, the stronger this muscle becomes, until choosing your ideal response becomes as natural as your old automatic reactions used to be. People who develop this level of conscious choice often feel like they've gained superpowers because they're no longer victims of their own patterns. They can step into any situation and consciously choose how to show up based on who they want to be rather than who they've been. The sixth way, acting as if creates transformation, is through what Campbell called environmental reshaping. When you consistently act like the person you want to become, your environment begins to shift to support that identity. People respond to you differently. Opportunities align with your new way of being. Circumstances rearrange themselves to match your elevated energy. This happens because the universe is always responding to your vibrational state, and your actions are the most powerful way to change your vibration. When you act confident, you literally emit the frequency of confidence. When you act successful, you broadcast the energy of success. When you act loving, you radiate the vibration of love. Campbell found that this environmental reshaping often happens so gradually that people don't notice it at first, but over time, they realize that their entire life has reorganized itself around their new identity. The people who couldn't appreciate their old self either evolved to match their new energy or naturally fade from their experience. The opportunities that weren't available to their old identity become accessible to their new identity. This isn't manipulation or deception, it's alignment. When you embody the energy of who you truly are, the universe can finally deliver the experiences that match your authentic nature. Your external life becomes a reflection of your internal transformation. The seventh and most profound way acting, as if transforms your life, is by connecting you to what Campbell called the archetypal power of your chosen identity. Campbell discovered that certain identity archetypes, like the leader, the creator, the healer, the warrior, the sage, carry enormous transformational power because they're connected to universal patterns of human excellence. When you act as if you embody one of these archetypal identities, you're not just changing your individual behavior. You're tapping into thousands of years of human wisdom and power associated with that archetype. You're accessing the collective strength of everyone who has ever embodied that identity before you. Campbell found that this archetypal connection gives people access to capabilities, insights, and energy that seem to come from beyond their individual self. They speak with wisdom that surprises them, take action with courage they didn't know. They create solutions with creativity that seems to flow through them rather than from them. This is because archetypes are not just psychological concepts, they're energetic templates that exist in what Campbell called the collective unconscious. When you align with an archetype through consistent embodied practice, you become a channel for the power and wisdom associated with that universal pattern. People who master this level of acting, as if often describe feeling like they're being lived by the archetype rather than trying to live up to it. They become instruments of the universal qualities they've chosen to embody, vessels for the archetypal energy to express itself through their unique personality and circumstances. Campbell's ultimate teaching about acting as if is that it's not a technique for becoming someone different. It's a method for remembering who you truly are. The person you want to become isn't foreign to your nature. It's your nature operating at its highest potential. Every quality you admire in others, every capability you wish you had, every aspect of identity you desire already exists within you as potential waiting to be activated. Acting as if doesn't create these qualities. It reveals them. It doesn't manufacture a new self, it uncovers your authentic self. The gap between who you are and who you want to become isn't a journey you have to take. It's an illusion you have to dissolve. The moment you start acting like the person you want to become, you discover that you already are that person. You always have been. You were just afraid to express it fully. Campbell's message is clear. Stop waiting for permission to be yourself. Stop requiring evidence before you embody your potential. Stop postponing your transformation until you feel ready. The person you want to become is available to you right now, in this moment, through the simple act of choosing to embody that identity. Act as if you're already confident, and confidence will become your reality. Act as if you're already successful, and success will follow. Act as if you're already worthy of love, and love will find you. Act as if you're already the person you want to become, and that person will become who you are. The transformation you seek is not a destination to reach, but a choice to make. Make it now. Make it again in the next moment. Keep making it until it becomes as natural as breathing. Your extraordinary self is not someday, it's today. Your authentic life is not tomorrow, it's now. And remember, if this video brought any new insight to you, share in the comments what it was. I read all of them, and this helps me create even better content for our community.